Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a massive, literally historic clash that is happening right now in the global economy. It's basically a giant tug of war. On one side, we have the old school traditional forces of monetary inflation, driven by debts and tariffs. But pulling hard in the exact opposite direction is a brand new, incredibly powerful deflationary force, artificial intelligence. So today, we're going to break down exactly how this tug of war is completely reshaping global productivity, your wallet, and ultimately your career. Let's get into it.
Are we entering an era of stagflation or the greatest productivity boom in human history? If you look at global economic reports right now, like those from Allianz Trade, they're warning of stagflation light. It's the super frustrating mix of sluggish global growth and stubbornly high prices. But at the exact same time, we're watching the tech sector absolutely explode with trillions, yes, trillions of dollars in investment. So which is it? Are we stagnating or are we on the brink of an unprecedented productivity boom? To actually understand this profound disconnect, we have to look at the macroeconomic forces at play.
Part 1. The economic tug of war. So we are currently watching two massive global forces battle it out. On the traditional side of the economy, analysts point out that rising public debt, fragmented global supply chains, and increasing tariffs are creating a really significant economic drag. In fact, economists at RSM estimate that tariffs and restrictive policies alone have created a 1% drag on growth. But fighting back on the right side are the new economy disruptors: AI, robotics, and automation. These technological advancements are pushing costs down and driving massive productivity gains, which actively fights against all that inflationary pressure.
Moving to Section 2, AI, the growth shield. Looking straight at the World Bank's numbers, the baseline forecast is, well, frankly, it's pretty grim. Global growth is expected to sluggishly hover around 2.3 to 2.5% through 2026. Now, in a normal cycle with high interest rates and these kinds of low numbers, we would totally expect a much sharper downturn in business investment. But we aren't seeing that at all. Why? Because an artificial floor has literally been placed under the struggling global economy. And that floor, it's being built by the tech industry. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell recently hit the nail on the head. He noted that AI spending on data centers has been holding up business investment and that AI spending will absolutely continue. The crucial takeaway here is that corporate trillions are pouring into data centers, compute infrastructure, and energy at such a massive scale that it is artificially shielding our broader GDP from a sharp drop. It's basically a localized boom keeping the global numbers afloat.
All right, Section 3, the deflationary tech boom.
So how exactly does throwing trillions into data centers act like an economic engine? Well, to get that, we need to clearly define the core concept at play here: technological deflation. Basically, this is the structural lowering of prices and costs driven by extreme productivity gains. When you automate labor and use AI to vastly increase efficiency, whether that's optimizing a renewable energy grid, predicting drilling success rates, or just automating basic corporate accounting, the real cost of producing goods and services goes down. Just think about the sheer scale of this for a second: 100,000 times. According to NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, computing performance has improved 100,000 times in just the last 10 years. I mean, imagine if your car suddenly became 100,000 times faster or 100,000 times cheaper to run. No way, right? But that is exactly what's happening to the cost of intelligence. As the energy and cost requirements for compute just plummet, AI can be integrated into the fabric of literally everything we do. Kathy Wood over at ARK Invest sums this up perfectly. She points out that the convergence of AI, robotics, energy storage, and blockchain is highly deflationary, but in the good sense of the word. See, when you cut the price of production, you spark massive demand. This allows for sustainable economic growth without spiking prices. It is the ultimate weapon against the inflation we looked at right at the beginning of this explainer. Which brings us to Section 4, the labor market earthquake. Now, obviously, when you introduce this level of extreme automation, the human element of the economy faces some really profound disruption. We're actually seeing a historic paradox unfold right before our eyes. Educated white-collar workers earning decent salaries, customer service reps, basic accountants, data analysts, are suddenly highly exposed to AI automation. But simultaneously, the essential economy is experiencing massive, unprecedented demand. We need physical human beings to actually go out and build the infrastructure of tomorrow. And the financial reality of this shift, it's staggering.
$225,000. Welders, electricians, and site supervisors who are building out these massive AI data centers are now earning up to $225,000 a year. Why? Because there is a severe national shortage of roughly 450,000 skilled trades workers. The transition from sitting at a desk to the physical build-out of the AI economy is happening right now, and the market is paying a massive premium for those physical skills.
Bring it back to Fed Chair Jerome Powell for a second. He impartially underscores a really major systemic risk here. He admits that AI has productivity implications, sure, but it also has social and labor market implications that governments simply do not have the tools to deal with right now. This transition is moving way faster than policy or traditional retraining programs can actually manage.
To put a hard number on that risk, take a look at this. Data sourced from PwC and Goldman Sachs estimates that by 2030, up to 30% of current jobs could be automated. That equates to roughly 300 million full-time jobs globally. Now, while new jobs will totally be created, that 30% represents a massive chunk of the global workforce that's going to need to adapt, pivot, or entirely change careers within just the next few years. Section 5. Capital versus labor. So we are witnessing a broader societal shift as the value of basic human labor goes down and the value of compute and capital goes way up. This builds into a massive philosophical shift. NVIDIA's Jensen Huang argues we have to separate a task from a purpose, right? AI might take over the task of writing code or drafting a legal document, but the human retains the ultimate purpose. Huang even theorizes about a future of universal high income, where AI generates so much wealth it actually funds a new societal baseline. Plus, entirely new industries will emerge. I mean, imagine a booming industry for robot apparel or specialized mechanics whose entire job is just fixing humanoid robots. The whole shebang is changing. All right, our final section, number 6, navigating the AI transition. So, what does this mean for us? How do we survive and thrive in this? Well, the pace of this change is incredibly rapid. In 2025, we're entering the early agent economy, where AI starts doing multi-step tasks for us, and people actually begin vibe coding, basically using plain English to build entire apps. By 2026, the World Economic Forum estimates 85 million jobs will be impacted amid a massive AI infrastructure boom. And by 2030, as tech giants pour trillions into this space, we hit that 30% automation threshold we talked about. To actually prepare for this, university and LinkedIn data suggest 4 clear steps. Step 1, you've got to embrace lifelong learning. The tech updates way too fast to stay static. Step 2, develop deep soft skills. AI doesn't have emotional intelligence, empathy, or complex human reasoning. These are your personal moats. Step 3, remain highly agile, ready to pivot as industries morph. And step 4, specialize. You want to become the person who expertly wields AI tools in a very specific niche. Which brings us to the end of this explainer, and I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. As the cost of raw intelligence and task execution plummets towards zero, what becomes your most valuable asset? Is it your empathy, your physical skills, your ability to connect disparate ideas? The AI revolution isn't just an economic tug-of-war. It's a fundamental reevaluation of what makes human labor valuable in the first place. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.